everyone. Welcome back to Reddit Affair Diaries. How's your day going so far? I hope it's been great, but if not, don't stress. You're in the perfect spot to relax and dive into some juicy relationship stories. There's always something new and unexpected waiting around the corner here. Before we jump in, leave a comment and share something good from your day. Let's keep the good vibes going and start this story together.
This Reddit story from our /RPG horror stories recounts how the OP's stepmom invited him to play with me, which might have been a mistake. So, I'm a 36-year-old dude. My dad has been a pretty good dad to me, but he was quite a terrible husband to my mom, and a few years back they got divorced. Mom's happy, dad's happy, divorce was amicable, all is well. Well, about a year after the divorce, my dad started dating Alice. Fake name. Alice is 39. They got married 2 years ago. Me and Alice actually get along super well. She's into a lot of the stuff I'm into, and even the stuff she's not into she's at least aware of. My dad marrying her actually improved my relationship with him and my siblings, since her being around makes me and my wife visit a lot more often, and since she loves hosting and is overall a lot of fun, we actually think she's a great addition to the family. At some point, it turns out, Alice got really into The Legend of Vox Machina, the Critical Role animated series. In case there is literally anyone on this sub is not familiar with it, basically a retelling of their actual play series. When she told me that, I made a series of mistakes which resulted in the most awkward few months of my life. I have a group of friends, we play an Exandria campaign. We started it on 5e, but when that whole WotC OGL fiasco happened, we transferred to PF2e, but we kept the setting and the plot unchanged. I personally am not great into CR and haven't actually watched low VM, but my group is great and the DM is a wonderful storyteller and makes the best NPCs. When Alice told me she really enjoyed low VM, I got really excited and told her about the campaign, and she got really excited. She never actually played TTRPGs before, but was excited to try, and was a self-proclaimed theater kid, so RPing wouldn't be an issue. I obviously, and at one point, to my great regret, got excited too. I love Alice. Alice is great. My group is great. This could only mean good things. I ran this by my group, GM plus 4 players, and they all were pretty cool with having her, though some jokes were made about my hot stepmom. They haven't met her yet, so I accepted this as good-natured ribs. I taught her the basics of PF2E and gave her a rundown of the campaign thus far, and helped her create her character. It was a swashbuckler loosely inspired by Jack Sparrow and Scanlan. She was incredibly excited, and I was too, so excited I failed to see the literal parade of red flag spelling. OHNO. This character concept was, like, sure, what I got from her backstory kept referring to all the people she seduced and all the hearts she broke. But that was just flavor, right? Right? Wrong. She shows up to session 1 and was her usual self. She's fun. She's charming. And her introduction is great. We're in a bit of a bind with a boss fight, and her character shows up to basically save our asses. She still needs a bit of help, but OMG, she's a magnificent RPer. Her attacks and feints are all super descriptive. She's receptive to critique. She knows enough of the rules to keep combat flowing. It's great. And the character is goofy and charming, and she does some silly accent which everyone loves, and is very vulgar, like a pirate should be. By session's end, everyone is fawning over her, and I'm group MVP for bringing her. This is par for the course. Hell, I love that woman to bits. I am not at all surprised by this. We all leave feeling great. Then the next session rolls around and shit starts hitting the fan. See, we're playing on a physical table, but we have a group Discord, and our GM uses a tablet to show NPC art, and some NPC in town is very hot. Alice begins flirting with the NPC, and I think this is just, she's playing a charming character, she's being charming. Except it keeps getting more serious and worse. Now my entire party is deeply invested in Alice's character's love life. Entire sessions are wasted on her going on dates with this NPC, and buying clothes in preparations for said dates, and helping him resolve some side quest the GM clearly wrote purely to have the NPC get more screen time. I am in hell. By this point, I have spent like 3 sessions listening to my stepmom flirting with my GM. I wish the ground would swallow me whole. When we finally leave that town and reach the next one, I think things might finally turn around, but no. She remains incredibly flirty, made no commitment to that guy. I am still sitting there listening to her flirt with this guy, GM. Though now he's doing a different accent. I regret inviting her. I want to die. and the party is loving it. I don't know if it's because she was the only woman at the table and they were mostly single guys and her character flirted with their PCs too, but her presence just shifted the entire campaign in a way that made it super awkward for me. But it got worse. We were having a campfire talk and her character opened up about some trauma in her backstory, and my character, a cleric of the Raven Queen, talks to her about loss, mourning, accepting death, all that good stuff since I'm playing him as insightful. And Alice, bless her heart, is acting her heart out. She looks me in the eye. There's tears forming in her eyes. She is having a character moment, an important one. But me, I am suddenly sick to my stomach because I realize what she's doing. She's flirting with my character. I am now sitting here, looking my friggin' stepmom in the eye, and am having to play out a scene of romantic tension with her. And this isn't just flirting, mind you, I see the plot hook she's dangling. She talks about how surface level her connections to other people always are, but how she seeks something deep, yada yada. I see what this is foreshadowing for. She wants to ship our characters. And it's the worst. Because remember, the other members of my group are strangers to her, so there was still some reservation. But with me, we're friends, we're family. She lets herself go all out. She puts a hand on my knee. She looks me in the eye. For a moment I worry that she's going to literally go for a kiss. She didn't, thank God. Everyone thinks the scene is friggin' spectacular, and session ends on high note. Not for me. I am deeply uncomfortable. I have now spent half an hour awkwardly flirting with my stepmom. This is gross. This is possibly the most awkward I have been in my life. The only bright side is that this was a breaking point for me, and things got better afterwards. Alice drives me home, and on the way she notices I'm kinda off, so she asks me what's up, and I tell her. She is now the reddest I have ever seen, and she's super apologetic. She's covering her face and won't look at me. She explains that she just thought this was what playing TTRPGs was since this was what they did on the show, and the flirting and the dating were all kinda just part of it, like theater, and she's so sorry for making me uncomfortable. I'll make it clear, she wasn't being aggressive or overly sexual or anything. It was just a very uncomfortable situation for me. I apologize for maybe not making things clear and not stopping the scene when I felt it was inappropriate, and we decide to talk it out with the group over Discord and explain the situation. We do so the next day and everyone's pretty cool about it. They are pretty chill dudes overall. We establish that Alice and her character are no longer to flirt with me and maybe turn down the flirting overall, and she does. Things improve a lot after that, and she's still playing with us to this day. Alice is genuinely a wonderful person and I love her. But she is also my stepmother, and for those horrible, awkward 30 minutes, she was trying to flirt with me, and I will never let her live this down. And thankfully we can laugh about it now. Like sometimes she'll ask for the salt and I'll go, do you need salt? Or do you need a real, deep connection? Relevant comment by Reddit users. I understand why you felt uncomfortable. However, she sounds like a great role player. I'd love to have her at my table. You didn't ask for advice, but I'll throw this out there. Talk with her using the positive sandwich method. Start with a compliment. Then tell her you were uncomfortable and why you were. Then end with a compliment. As she immerses herself in being her character, consider doing the same. Your character is not gaming with their stepmom. Your character is adventuring with a flirty swashbuckler. Enjoy the immersion. Comment. Thank you for your reply and advice. As I mentioned in the post, we already worked this out. She's great and I think her RP skills improve the table as a whole. My character has a very bro-y dynamic going on with hers, which really works for both of us and led to some great comedy. Comment. I've never met an adult with a same-age step-parent who actually viewed them as a step-parent. It's a really unique view. Usually, the discomfort is that their parent is pursuing their peer. You're on almost uncharted ground. Response. She's my dad's wife. She runs the home and babysits my kids. She basically functions as a parental figure, and I don't see a reason to view her as anything else. Our next Reddit story comes from our /stepkids, where OP's stepmom fall in love with him. So my dad's girlfriend is essentially my stepmom, who I'll call E. She's the nicest person ever. But I don't really know if she's loves more or just feels responsible for me, if that makes sense. Just for a bit more context. I'm from Texas and I'm staying with my dad and her in Colorado. When I first got here, she was super nice. Like she wanted to do everything with me. Like if she went to the nail salon, she would take me with her and let me walk around Shields for a bit until she was finished. Then she would take us to lunch right after. Like even when her and my dad went to the bar, they would basically make me go, which I loved. She doesn't have kids nor wants kids. I remember eating with her parents and they asked her if she wanted kids. She said she had me, which obviously made me feel so welcome. He would also always text me when I was in my room to come down and eat. Now I have to be downstairs to even get asked. After being here for about 4 months, I think she might be tired of me. Maybe it's because I'm shy. We used to run errands almost every day together. Now it's maybe twice a week if my dad's not home. It also feels like she has a lot less to do with me when my dad's home. And when he is home, which is usually the weekends, they leave me home to watch our 3 dogs from like 9 p.m. to almost 12 p.m. the next morning and stay in a hotel because they're so wasted. Man, I love her like my own mom, but I get attached easy. She still talks to me sometimes, but not in the same way she did when I first got here. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Anyone feel the same or are in the same situation? Relevant comments. I am a stepmom to 3 kids, but I also have my own. In the beginning, I went out of my way for them but eventually stopped because I never felt appreciated. I couldn't tell if they liked me or just put up with me because they had to. To be honest, I don't even know if they've noticed because their attitudes haven't changed. If my stepkids ever told me those moments were important to them, I would give 110%. I know it's difficult for everyone to know how much is too much or not enough. I'd say talk to her, ask her to go do something, let her know you care and how much it means to you. Being a step-parent is so hard. I love that you care so much. Response by OP. I really appreciate that. I just want to let you know it's very hard for us kids. We love everything you do for us, but we don't want to overstep boundaries. Especially if you already have your own kids. We don't want them to feel lesser than us. Most of us step-kids love you guys more than anything. It's just hard as a kid to initiate talks to an adult and not feel annoying. It also doesn't help with all the movies we watch where the step-parent is always a jerk or abusive. But I think your step-kids love you in the same way they love their real mom. They don't always say thank you or I love you, but deep inside, they do. I hope you have a great day, and once again, thanks for your support.